Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two are just along for the ride. We are joined by two guests, so this is kind of a weird time for me. So Patrick Lyons, what's up?
What's going on, Aaron? How you doing? Thanks for inviting me. And we're talking Rockies, we're talking prospects, and we got a great one today. I'm looking forward to this combo.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. We are joined by Chris McMahon, starting pitching prospect of the Rockies system. What up, big dog?
How we doing? Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, this is. We were just talking a little bit off air. I've been pretty excited about this. It's been 2 years. We chatted. You were like one of the first guys that we had on, like Blake Street Banter. You kind of just kind of full circle, and here we are. And
yeah,
obviously, the first question I want to ask you was those Eagles, huh? Go Birds!
Go Birds! Always.
Like I say that as a Lions fan for one season, so
I was pulling for them. I really was. But yeah, I mean, gosh, the Eagles disappointing. All I can say. Tough way to end that 6 weeks. So brutal.
And what's wild to me is just like the discourse around it. Like you were at the Super Bowl last year, right? And then the Super Bowl is in your grasp, almost 11-0, and now it's just like, all right, we got to change everything up. It's going to switch everything up. Everybody must go, and that's a weird feeling to think about, like as like a successful franchise, a successful season. But that's just Philly, right?
Yeah, it is. It's crazy, and like you said, it was a complete switch up this season with coordinators and whatever, and and we're doing it all over again. It's round 2 with new coordinators, and I don't even know what's going to happen. There's always optimism about these guys, but at the end of the day, you really don't know until you see the results. So
right,
that's how it is.
I'm sort of curious, in the group chat that you have with all the other baseball players who are Eagles fans, what does Mike Trout think the Eagles need to do next year to get over the hump? What's he throwing out there?
I don't know. God knows. I hope he helps. Says something. They need all the help they can get. But it is cool to see him, a diehard Philly fan, see him at the sideline seats that he's got. It's cool to see him get into it, and it really is a great sports city, and the fans love their Eagles. I can obviously being a lifelong fan. They're very passionate, extremely passionate, and they'll let you know when you're not doing too good, but at the same time, they will have your back every step of the way.
Yeah, it is a thing. Like last year, was it last year or 2 years ago when it was Trey Turner? Like Trey Turner was this year,
yeah, it was this year.
Just wasn't doing good, and then just like, hey, we're gonna do a little something different than what Philly does, and cheer you on, and he just switched it, and there is something about that. It was cool.
It was cool. I agree. Yeah.
Did you? So you're, as a guy from Pennsylvania, not too far outside of the Philadelphia area. Do you remember the 2008 World Series and 2009 World Series? Not the outcome you would have hoped for there against the Yankees, but do you remember those World Series? And do you have any skills climbing a light pole that's lathered in lard? Can you do that?
No. I was in 4th grade when they won, and yes, I do remember. I was at every home game in the playoffs in 2008 when they won. I want to say I was almost at every single home game as well in 2009 when they lost to the Yankees. But I do remember when they won the World Series, walking out of the stadium, walking out of the bank, and I was with my dad, and people are going crazy. Obviously, I'm 10 years old, I think, at the time, and obviously I'm not climbing any light poles, but my dad did make sure to let me know, do not leave my side, but just look around. And there's people going crazy. People are flipping cars, which I'm sure is not a good idea, but that's what Philly fans do because that just makes sense for some reason. And climbing poles, going nuts. It was unbelievable. And I will never forget that day or either of those years. It was special times for me.
Yeah, there is something about a good playoff run that goes through it. Like 2000 October with me and my boys was such a blast, and that's like one of our top moments. We really wore in at game 163, and kind of like what you just said, like everybody coming out of the stadium and feeling it. It really did feel like a championship for us. It's just something about those memories, about good times that goes there.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
so,
it's special.
like there is that fanism is pretty cool, and it's still
Yeah.
cool. You are an athlete, you're a professional athlete in the sport, but you still get to hold that being a fan thing.
Always, yeah.
You,
Yeah. It's something that really just never leaves you,
right, like no matter what.
no matter what.
I mean, you could always be Cade Denton out here saying "Go Cowboys" too. So
Yeah, I
spring
mean,
training here,
that's like Groundhog Day for them.
right? Could always
Wow.
be every Cowboy playoff game, one game and done every year. I feel you, Cade, but I don't feel bad for you. I'm sick of the Cowboys, but
Yeah.
that's whatever. All right, let's get to baseball talk, man.
Yeah.
So like last time we talked, it was in the middle of that 21 season with that Spokane team. I think we talked because I did go back and listen to it. I think we talked like right before you guys made that crazy run to make that playoff push and end up losing in that championship series, so to speak. Take us back to that good time. Like, what was that run like with that crew? Because like you had Tolia, you had Doyle, Noah Davies
Tovar.
showed up at the end. Tovar, you mentioned Shelby Lackey and
Shelby Lackey.
yeah,
Doyle was there.
Yeah.
Brenton Doyle.
Doyle was there from start to finish. Yeah.
So like,
Who
just
else
go
did we
back.
have?
Like, what was that like?
I mean, it was awesome. That is probably one of the best teams I've ever played for, if not the best team I've ever played for in my baseball career. And at the same time, a ton of fun. Obviously, like you said, when we were winning, it was awesome because the beginning of that year was rough. I think we started out like 2-10. And it was ugly losses too. It wasn't like we were really even competing in these games, and then to be able to turn it around at the end of July and the entire month of August was insane. I think we lost 4 games in August, which is nuts. I think we went like 20-4 in the month of August, and I think we won like 13 straight at some point, something crazy. But yeah, man, that team was a whole lot of fun. There's dudes everywhere on that team: Hunter Stovall, Tovar, Blomgren, Tolia, Doyle, Isaac Collins, who's I think with the Brewers now, but Decalotti, like you mentioned, Noah Davis in the rotation. We had Stephen Jones coming out of the bullpen, Dugan Darnell coming out of the bullpen. I mean, it was just at a point where we showed up to the field and it was almost the mentality of we're going to win today. They don't have a chance. Like, we're going to beat you. And that's kind of how it went. And even when we didn't win and we lost, it was like, well, we'll win tomorrow. It's fine. And that's, I think, what was so fun about it. It was so laid back. Everybody enjoyed being around each other. And winning obviously makes it a whole lot more fun.
It seems like with that roster there in 2001 in Spokane and similar to some of the teams that Fresno has rolled out there, the farm system is really strong right now. And it's kind of evokes some memories of 2013 when the Asheville Tourists, went to the South Atlantic League Championship, and they had a core group of guys where you had Ryan McMahon, Freeland, Senzatella, Carlos Estevez, all those guys that ended up contributing to the 2017 and 2018 back-to-back postseason appearances. And I know the Rockies, they like to keep those homegrown guys together so they can grow together and build off of that. Do you see there being a ton of value of keeping a core of guys like that who are winning together in actually keeping them together like that?
Yeah, especially in the professional ball setting. Obviously, the nature of the beast of an entire season is crazy. It's a grind. And when you can start that culture at a young age, like for me, I was one of the youngest guys on that team, and for those a little bit older guys to help me along the way of my first pro ball season and do that was awesome. And like you said, man, I think it is good. When you move up level by level and you're familiar with the guys in the locker room, you're familiar with the guys who are behind you, it makes it that much easier to just go out there and play and just go compete. Makes it easier to rely on those guys. You're not out there on an island. For me as a pitcher, obviously, it's not like, all right, I gotta fight on my own here. It's like, no, I got 7 dudes behind me that got my back, and I know somebody's behind the plate that's helping me outdo this. So it's awesome to see some of those guys, get to the big leagues quick and have an impact right away, like Doyle and Tovar and Noah Davis. It's awesome. I mean, Doyle is I tell people all the time, he's probably the best outfielder I've ever played with, and I imagine he's the best outfielder a lot of guys have played with. So,
yeah, there's definitely that sentiment's definitely echoed by some people. Seeing what he did, like when he came up last year, like on the big stage, right? Like we all saw it. He won the Gold Glove. Like you saw it firsthand. But there's just something different, like when it hits at that major league level, especially at Coors with that giant ass outfield, and just he just handles his business the best he possibly can. It's he deserved every single inch of that Gold Glove that he earned last year at the major league level.
Absolutely,
it's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was curious. Someone told me recently that now, if you've seen Brenton Doyle in person, like dude looks like a free safety. Like he looks like a Hall of Fame safety. You're like, that's Ronnie Lott's, grandson, whatever it may be. He's built like that, but I heard he's not a huge gym rat. Like he's just magically engineered to be that like in shape.
Yeah, he might be. Honestly, I never really, now that you mention it, I guess I do not really see him in the weight room. I'm sure he does. I mean, to be built like that, you got to do something. Again, maybe I don't really pay attention, I guess. I don't pay attention enough, especially in Spokane. I mean, that weight room's tiny there. You can only lift like 3-4 guys at a time. So when I was lifting, it was usually other pitchers. So I'd imagine he does work at the gym. I don't know, honestly, but you're right, man. He is, yeah, can't confirm nor deny. He is built like a football player. He is a physical man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, it might be a little bit of that dad strength coming into. He does have that going for him too. So there's some kind of connection. I mean, sorry, enough about Doyle. Let's talk about you. Who's throwing harder, you or Blake Goldsberry right now?
Probably Blake. I'm gonna give it to Goldsberry.
Goldsy?
Probably Goldsberry. Yeah, he can throw pretty hard. It's been a while since I've been able to tick up to like 95, and I know he can hit that. So I couldn't tell you last time I hit 95. I think I hit it once in spring training, once or twice. Yeah, man, those days I need to get back. It's tough though. It really is tough when the more and more you throw. And but I'll give the edge to Blake on that one.
Yeah, he made some adjustments last year, and he was telling us about it last offseason, how he just did something a little bit different with his fastball, and he had a little bit of ump to it, and it worked out really good. He looked really good last year in Hartford.
Yeah, he did. He turned it up that second half big time.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's a big giant human too.
Like, yeah, he's a big boy.
We got
undrafted. How about that?
6'5", 6'6".
Out of Kansas. Yep. Colorado boy too, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, it was a short 2020 draft, but he was definitely a guy where as soon as the Rockies signed him, it was pretty obvious that they got a steal there. They got a top 5 round draft pick that hey, it was a short draft, and that was the draft that you were a part of too.
I
Chris.
was, yeah.
Going back to the University of Miami days, I was kind of curious. Carson Palmquist was with you there in your final year as a junior. Then he gets drafted by the Rockies and quickly moves up through the system in Double-A at the end of 2023. Are you ever going to be able to get away from him? That's really what I want to
know. I don't know. And you know what? I'm good friends with Carson. So when he was drafted by the Rockies, I was obviously pumped up. I would get pumped up for any of my teammates at Miami. But, being a pitcher as well and watching him pitch as a freshman there, and, obviously following my Canes even throughout pro ball and their seasons. I was following his junior year when he was there doing his thing. So when we got him, I was fired up, man. He's obviously a very good pitcher. That kid, I've seen him make kids look really, really silly in inter squads in his freshman year. And for him to kind of step up and do that as a freshman was really cool to see. And really happy for his success already right off the bat. His first pro year, did a great job. Got up to Hartford at the end of the year, and he's gonna be a dude for a while. He's that kind of guy.
Has he always had that just insane strikeout ability?
Yeah, he does. He struck out a bunch of guys in inter squads all the time at Miami, and he's just a funky guy. Obviously, he's that funky lefty. It comes at you weird, and Obviously he can pitch. He knows where to put the fastball. He's got 2 other pitches that he can use, and when you're funky and already and you got that going on, it's hard to hit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's working for him. Yeah, it's like 100 plus strikeouts in Spokane last year before making his way to Hartford. It's just insane. But again, what about you? Like, this is your conversation, not about us. How's the rehab going? So you had that lat strain in about June, July last year. It looks like you worked back and you had some time at the Arizona Fall League. But like, where you at? How you feeling? How we feeling about going into spring training in a few weeks?
Feeling pretty good. Feeling good. I need to just, get back out there. And part of it's the mental part, man. It's, when you deal with multiple back-to-back injuries, you start, as you can imagine, start thinking about, like, is my arm okay? Is it not okay? It feels good today. I don't know if it's going to feel good tomorrow. And, just kind of letting that go and just being like, I'm good. I'm healthy. Let's go do this thing. I know what I'm capable of doing when I'm healthy. I'm looking forward to spring training, man. I'm looking forward to seeing all those guys and getting back out there on the mound and competing, man. And it was good for the fall league. Obviously, got hurt at the All-Star break, and just to get back out there for the fall league. I know it wasn't pretty at times. Those guys are good, man. And coming off an injury, I was definitely not my sharpest at all. But it's the fall league. It's okay. But just to get back out there again and be like, all right, arm's good, and hitting the off season good, and let's just get ready for 2024.
This would typically be the time where, after making 15 starts at AA, you'd be thinking about, oh man, I can make my debut next year. If things go right with me or things go wrong with the big league staff. But it sort of seems like, because you're getting back on the road to good health and really just trying to go out there every 5 days, give the team 5-6 innings. Does it make it easier to not like focus on that noise of like, man, if I do everything right, I might be debuting? It really allows you to just focus on yourself, because that's what you're trying to do is really build up those innings on your arm this year.
Yeah. Seriously, I mean, you nailed it on the nose. It's just one of those things. And I kind of had that mentality going into this past season, where it was like, if things work out and I can stay healthy, you never know, I might debut this year. And didn't happen. Obviously got hurt and had some setbacks. So like you said, kind of having that mentality again, and then going into 2024, let's start with spring training and go from there. But yeah, like you said, I mean, things could go my way here if, just gotta stay with it and stay on the mound, stay healthy, really.
I want to see if we can get a scoop here for the Blake Street Banter listeners, and for Aaron here. Will you be getting a major league invite to camp? Do you know yet?
I don't believe so. No, I didn't get one. I don't think. I think they're already out. I believe I didn't get one. No.
All right. Hopefully they're lost in the mail. We'll just keep our fingers crossed.
Send it to check your junk email real quick.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a lot to build off of that last year at Hartford. Like, the Eastern League is a juggernaut, especially with some of those prospects that are out there. And we talk about that all the time and try to emphasize that the high A to double A jump it's got to be the biggest one, especially for a starting pitcher against some of those guys. Like, there's probably 10-15 guys that you probably faced last year that were in the majors by the end of the season.
Yeah.
What did you kind of learn about yourself? Because you were still a strikeout and inning guy. Gave up a few too many hits. I'm sure you're aware of that. But like, what was some of that learning process that you had in that, like, real first taste of, all right, this is it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, for me, it was a lot of adjustments week to week, and I think I started out kind of rough, obviously, and that was my first time in the Eastern League, and like you said, facing a lot of good players, and a lot of it is taking notes, whether it's mental notes or actual notes, on how to get these guys out the more and more you face them. And, that's knowing what they got you with the first time. That's knowing the scouting report on them, where they like to swing, what they like or what they're looking for. A lot of that is what we like to call it. I talked, Drew Romo kind of mentioned this line when we were working together, is just kind of abuse their weaknesses. And that kind of became a thing of like, you know what, if he is struggling against a slider, don't even throw a fastball. Like, just keep throwing him sliders. And if he struggles with fastballs in, just keep throwing fastballs in until they prove to you that they have made the adjustment and then beat you with it. If they don't beat you with it, keep doing it. And that's kind of one thing I learned. And I think the frustrating part about the injury I had was the last 4 to 6 weeks prior to that. I felt like I was really turning it on, and I felt like I was throwing the ball really, really well compared to like the first month that season, where I was getting hit around, giving up home runs, and like I just mentioned, it was all part of that adjustment period of like, okay, I got it going on now. I think my pitches were also getting better. Like, I thought my changeup was getting more action, throwing it harder. All that stuff was just starting to click, and that's kind of the whole process that happened up until the injury in the Eastern League. So
it also seemed like you had that kind of Coors Field mentality of like, you might get one, but you're not going to get the next one, or you might get two here, but I'm worried more about the next run. Like, you were able to get that length all throughout June, and okay, yeah, maybe 3 earned runs, but again, you got the length, you got the 5 innings, 5 1/3, 6 innings, where you're getting quality starts right there on the precipice, and that's obviously something a lot that the organization values for their affiliates is, and those starting pitchers, to say, hey, you're going to get hit around a little bit, but can you bounce back and still get some length? And you were really able to do that in those last 5-6 starts.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's as a starting pitcher, that's your job. Just give your team a chance to win. You're going to give up runs, man. These guys are good. It's part of the game. That's why they keep score. It's going to happen. And like you said, if you can limit it to 2, 3, 4 runs, I mean, we got guys in the lineup too that can bang. So you know what? You're giving your team a chance to win. Obviously, everyone wants to go out there and throw 6 shutout innings, right? That's a pitcher's dream. Not going to happen every time you go out. It might happen every once in a while, and it's awesome. But just keeping your team in it, giving them a chance to win. That's my job as a starting pitcher.
Yeah. And that's the mentality. You got to have that. We talked to Jared Candy last week, and he said very similar things. And he's a dog. Like, that was his thing. He's like, I might give up a hit or two, but what am I doing right now to get this guy? And that's what I'm focusing on. And he said he learned a lot. That very similar to your story right there. Just like that first part of that season, it was kind of flipping that switch. Like, all right, I can't get everybody out that way. So what am I doing to get this out, and just finding a way to just be solid and try to go 6 and do that thing. So there's a lot to build on. And you were always one guy that I always was tuning in to watch. Like, I watched more Hartford games last year than I did Rockies games. And because like a lot of friends of the pod were on the team between Hartford and Isotopes. And it's like cool seeing you guys do your thing. But like, there's just, when you're on, like, it's so much fun. Like that change up, I
appreciate it.
It's nasty, and it's one of my favorite pitches to watch. So, like, I'm excited to see what you have going on in 2024. I'm just wherever you're at, we got you, and just you have a lot to build on, and keep grinding and keep doing your thing. And you got us rooting for you in the back and supporting you here. And so,
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's awesome. Yeah, it's cool to see you guys. Support us as minor leaguers. It's a grind, man, and. Sometimes you have those moments, those days where you feel like you're on an island, like I kind of mentioned before. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, we got you.
I imagine you're going to hear a lot more when you go down to spring training, but what's the early scouting report on Albuquerque? What do you know about that city other than Breaking Bad and the elevation?
Yeah, I didn't honestly know Breaking Bad was in Albuquerque until like a year ago, maybe. Somebody mentioned it to me, because I didn't really watch Breaking Bad. I've seen it. I have a couple of my friends watch it, and I'm like hanging out with them, watch it, whatever. But I had no idea. But yeah, I mean, I heard Albuquerque. I mean, I heard it's tough, man. It is what it is. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I think it's tough to begin with. But I think it's if you, like you said, if you want to get ready for Denver, I might as well try and pitch somewhere like that too. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I've heard some crazy stories. I heard a story from one of my Miami guys who wasn't with the Rockies, but he played there on the road or something, and he saw like 16 home runs in a game or something. I'm like, yeah.
Like
But,
it's far
Yeah,
fetched
it was-
enough to be true.
It was a pitcher's duel.
yeah, exactly.
It was a pitcher's duel. It was two top 100 pitching prospects. They only gave up those 16, so yeah, it was actually pretty
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I've heard all the stories, right? I've heard the big field. It's probably like 430 feet to center field, which is absurd. And you know what? It is what it is, man. You just go play, go compete. Whatever happens, happens. Won't be the first home run I give up, bro. Probably won't be the last either. So.
Yep.
Hey, you were pitching with a right field porch that was probably about 225 away. So I mean, you're gonna be all right.
I know that
Seriously.
Hartford porch is sneaky. It's sneaky. I gave up a couple of home runs there, and like off the bat, I'm like, really? Like yeah. It's weird. It's like an overhang too, because the bullpen's out there. Obviously, our Hartford bullpen is out there, so like you don't really realize the overhang until you're like shagging BP or sitting in the bullpen. And yeah, man, there's a couple that snuck out there. I was like, there's no way, man. And you know, you see your right fielder, whether it was like Bean or Fernandez going back and just stop and look up, and you're like, no way. You're just like, there's no way. And it lands in the second row of that little overhang, and you're like, Jesus, man, like whatever.
it is funny to watch too, because you're watching it and it's kind of grainy stream and stuff. You can't really get an eye on the ball, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a home run. I thought it was going to be a double, or like it hits in between that under that overhang, and it's still a live ball. And it's just like that. What's going on here? So I can only imagine if you're seeing that on the mound, like he didn't get that. What are we doing here?
It's like, it's weird. But I'll say this: there's a couple hits off the wall that are held to singles, which is cool, I guess. Yeah. I think that happened to me a couple times. Give up a line drive over his head, and it's close enough where they can't even take second because if the right fielder plays it right, they don't have a chance, or they're throwing him out. So I guess that's the only good thing about that short porch.
Yeah, right.
You need a right fielder who can play it off the net well.
Yeah,
the only place
seriously, that net is weird too.
Baseball.
That is so weird.
Yeah,
Duncan is a treat.
It is. It's an awesome park. I really did enjoy it. I loved it. I really did. The clubhouse, the park, the fans. I mean, those fans show out. It's awesome. Yeah, like a Wednesday night too, and those Friday, Saturday nights in June, July. I mean, awesome. Just awesome. You like the juices. You get the juices going easy there. You hear them in the first inning. You get a strikeout in the first inning. They're loud, man. They love it, and
that's awesome.
It is an awesome park. It's a great atmosphere. The staff there is great. They do an awesome job with the in between inning little games they got. It really is a cool atmosphere. It's a great place to play. I know a lot of the friends that I had in the Eastern League with the other teams. They loved coming to Hartford. Absolutely loved it, and I know why, obviously. Mm-hmm. So
when you played the Somerset Patriots and the Portland Sea Dogs, right? Yankees, Red Sox, they're drivable. Would a lot of those fan bases kind of come in to invade a little bit to see Yankees and Red Sox prospects?
Oh yeah, and the some Mets fans too. Some Mets fans a little bit, but yeah, you would see some opposing gear when the. I remember a lot of the Somerset, at least, because I think we played them twice at home. Oh, same with Portland. A lot of those fans that want to get the autographs right out front are always on their bus, like waiting for the guys to get off the bus, whether it's the Somerset or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot, and I noticed that, which is cool. It's cool for them, because they're on the road. And, throughout the minors, there's a lot of road trips where it's just like, where am I for them? It's kind of go to a place where a lot of people are looking for their autograph and they're wearing their team, their affiliates, like gear and all that. It's cool. It's good. I'm sure it's awesome for them. And, it adds to the atmosphere at Hartford too for us, whether it's opposing or for, it's not like a hostile place. It's not like people are yelling at the players, and like they're generally great people. So it is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, baseball, sports, it's cool going back to that fandom that we started the conversation with. It's brings it all back together, whether it's minor league and you're traveling for these prospects and these guys or whatever. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then seeing it from a different perspective, I'm sure kind of humbles you a little bit to an extent, but also gets you kind of revved up, ready to go. Like, all right, let's get to the next stage and see what's on up there. So adds a little bit to it. Yeah. All right, Chris, I appreciate you. We went over our 15-minute time, but we were
I got
chit-chatting.
nothing else to do. Yeah.
I appreciate it. So when are you actually headed down to spring training?
The 17th.
Okay.
Not like, 17th. I'm actually heading to South Florida tomorrow. And then I'm there for about 8 days.
Okay.
I'm going to be around, I'm going to West Palm for a couple of days, and I'm going down to Miami for about 6 days. And then coming home for one last week, honestly, just to come home, pack up my stuff, really get ready, and then shoot on out to Phoenix. So that's the plan. Yeah.
Enjoy that. Have fun. And
we'll do.
Again, we'll be watching. We got you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
See you, Chris.
See ya.